very good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Diaspora Vybez. Now, this is a fresh week. We have a lot in store for you. Remember, you can keep the conversation going on all our social media platforms. That's at TV47KE, or you might as well send me a direct tweet on my handle at Owino. For now, let's delve straight into the headlines.
Wash your hands to board a public bus in Rwanda. We give you across the globe updates on the coronavirus. Nigerian businessman born over coffee, the newest moneymaker in the country. And on Diaspora Culture, we take you through the flames of the second part of Indian cuisine in Kenya.
Thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter for today is Josephine Oak. Now moving on to the first story. Coronavirus has now been declared a pandemic, with 8 sub-Saharan countries having confirmed cases. The United States President Donald Trump has so far issued a 30-day travel ban for planes from Europe, while in the East, Saudi Arabia has expanded the list of countries affected by the ban to include Kenya, among other nations. Closer home, Rwanda has instituted hand-washing stations at bus stops to prevent the spread of the virus. Tonight, we focus the lens on Rwanda.
If you want to board a bus in Kigali, you've got to wash your hands first. Rwanda has not recorded any cases of coronavirus yet, but neighbouring Democratic Republic of Congo confirmed its first case on Tuesday. In response, Rwanda's capital has been flooded with portable hand basins at shops, restaurants, banks and bus stops to be used by residents like Musabye Maria Genevieve.
Fearing this disease is necessary because it will push us to take serious preventative measures in all ways before it comes, to avoid its quick spread if and when it comes here.
8 countries in sub-Saharan Africa have reported cases of the flu-like virus, and on Wednesday the World Health Organization officially labelled the outbreak a pandemic and warned that some countries are not doing enough.
Concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction.
South Africa has the most confirmed cases in sub-Saharan Africa, while patients have also tested positive in Nigeria, Senegal, Cameroon, Togo, Burkina Faso, DRC and Ivory Coast.
Businessmen in the Nigeria city of Lagos typically broker deals over exotic wine or champagne, but in recent times it is not an uncommon sight in the city's upmarket of Victoria Island, which is the business district, to see a clutch of men celebrating with steaming coffee that costs as much as $114 for a 3-cup brew. With coffee beans being the new moneymaker in the country, the brew is definitely a drink for the rich. Take a look.
A new trend is brewing in Nigeria. At least that's what entrepreneurs like Ibrahim Semande believe.
We have some pretty premium coffees from around the world. We have the Wild Kopi Luwak. We also have Hawaiian Kona, the Vasenda. We are a very aspirational society, and it's very easy for things to catch on as vogue.
This isn't your basic coffee bought on the street for a fraction of $1. A cup at Semande's Cafe, Meishai Coffee, can sell for 100 times as much. That's for the good stuff premium coffees like Kopi Luwak, made from partially digested coffee beans salvaged from civet cat excrement. Semande believes top-end coffees, including homegrown varieties, as well as a touch of ceremony, will attract elite Nigerians. Designer Tosin Ashaye seems to have been won over.
Person, but the barista took his time to take me through the process of making the coffee, so I feel like it's an immersive experience. You're not just drinking coffee.
But the task for Nigeria's coffee entrepreneurs could be a grind. Nigerians today turn to tea or cocoa when they want a hot drink. According to Fitch Solutions, the two will account for close to 40% of non-alcoholic drink spending in Nigeria by 2023. Outstripping coffee at just 2.5%. That said, consumption of coffee has nearly doubled since 2010, hitting over 1.6 tons last year. Semande believes Nigeria should pursue building its local coffee market with the same zeal it puts into refining oil and growing rice.
Wildlife tops Africa's tourism magnet, and every year tourists flock South Africa to have a one-on-one encounter with wildlife. Now, the country's tourism association is implementing a no-interaction policy effective in June to discourage exploitation of the animals. The development has been cheered by animal welfare activists, but faces opposition from businesses that host activities like cub petting and walking with cheetahs and rhinos.
Yeah. So lions should not have interaction with human beings. They should not be used as props. There's no conservation value in breeding lions in captivity, and there's definitely no educational value in breeding lions in captivity. Lion cubs that are removed from their mothers after just a few days after being born are very distressed initially. They miss their mums and they miss out on very valuable and important nutrition right from day one, basically.
We've got about 250 staff members working here, so if we stop interaction, that means our business will go into liquidation, and 250 staff members with their families will be impacted without jobs and loss of income.
Completely and utterly against it. It's what happens to them when they become adults. Where do they go to from then? What becomes of them? Because then they're petted, they're domesticated, and then from there, where does their natural instinct go to? And then what do they end up in the farms where they're shot? And that's my biggest concern.
Amazing experience that I have made in my life. Play with the little lions. It was really, really funny, and it's an amazing experience. You need to come here and to see that.
And that story now brings us to a second beat of the show, where we have a studio interview, and I'm joined by three guests, three gentlemen, so to say. And the first one on my immediate left is James Mugu, who's the Senior Property Manager, Optiven, and seated next to him is Peter Kariuki, who's the MD for PMC Estates, and lastly, we have George Mangs, who's the Director at Market Cap Traders. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
So just before we dive into the discussion, where we're going to be speaking matters pertaining to diaspora investments within the country and outside, maybe if I just get a quick and brief introduction of every single one of you, starting with James Mugu.
Thank you, Mr. Allan. Yeah. My name is James, aka James Proti. Yeah. In Kenya, you need to have an original name and an AKA.
Yeah.
So, AKA James Proti. I serve under the organization called Optiven, under the leadership of my mentor and the team leader,
right,
Mr. George Washiori. Many know him as a real estate guru. And in the organization, I'm a property advisor.
All right.
So I advise Kenyans on matters concerning investments and real estate.
All right. Just quickly, if we move to Peter, give us something to the people.
Well, thank you very much, Allan. And my name is, as you have said, is Peter Kariuki.
Right.
And I work with a property management company in Kenya called PMC Estates. And our main aim is to help rental property owners to enjoy their investments, what we call making them a little bit of stress. And I'm happy to be here this evening.
All right.
Yes.
And to our last man, Mangs.
Yeah, my name is George Mangs. I'm the director of Market Cap Traders. We basically do offer financial training for especially employed individuals who want to invest in passive investments. So we've not only focused on the stock market, the treasuries, that's the bills and bonds.
Right.
We look at the money markets and a little bit of real estate, though I let the real estate to the gurus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Thank you. So let's just start getting into this conversation slowly and slowly. We are talking about diasporans. they are with the investments and typically all that involves everything that's put into that space. Many diasporans outside there, they still feel that the Kenyan government has not given them the desired attention that they deserve as citizens of Kenya. Now, you deal with diasporans who are investing in the country. You've had a first-hand experience. What's the real situation on the ground? Maybe if I start with you, James.
Well, Mr. Allan, and to the viewers, I think that's a subject that has been discussed since 2017. I have seen many diasporans complain and air their views about being involved in the parliament as well, so that they can air their concerns and they can be represented. And currently there's a chair, there's a panel that is discussing about the issue, and I'm hoping that within next year we'll have somebody representing the Kenyans in diaspora in the parliament. And that will be a big step to represent our brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
All right. Peter, you manage properties at PMC Estates. Do you have a different view from this?
Diaspora, we can see it's a very, very important component of our economy, because remember, the diasporians are our brothers and sisters who have gone, outside the country to, make their lives better, and therefore we cannot talk about the Kenyan economy without leaving behind the diasporans, because looking at the impact they have had in the economy. The diaspora remittances, which are growing every day, every year, and therefore it becomes a very important component of the economy, and therefore it is a responsibility of the Kenyan government, together with the private sector. Remember, it is not in isolation, and therefore the private sector and the Kenyan government has to come together to make sure that diaspora is well incorporated as matters to come with the Kenyan economy.
All right.
Yes.
Now, just to rope in George into the conversation, you deal with financial matters, and one of the areas that you deal with it in terms of financial matters is cryptocurrency. But before we get into the cryptocurrency discussion, diasporians have always complained about them not having a diaspora bond, so to say, because other countries, they've been given that. They believe that the government should take this opportunity. What's your take on them having a diaspora bond, and why is it taking the government so long to actually complete this?
I think when you look at Kenya as a government and generally our economy, it's in as much as the pace is slow, but I must say it's commendable. I mean, we cannot really compare ourselves to the more faster developed countries. But still, in terms of investments, bonds, I know people like them because they're really, really safe investments. And especially if in the diaspora, as opposed to sending money to someone to do a business for you here, a bond or something else that doesn't need you to be there but still get returns for it guaranteed, it's very good. But there are very many other options which you can do, like real estate, for instance, that these guys do. Though I tend to focus more on investments that are really going to develop without you necessarily being there. And that's why I tend to drive people more towards money markets. And especially at the moment, like now we're having coronavirus, if you have cash, you're the king. Because we see most of the stock markets going down, asset prices are going down, and it's going to go on for a while. So the issue of looking for a bond, well, it's really good, but the returns are not different from what we already have. So it's just, I think it's more or less an issue of information symmetry. Right.
Well, still, just on George's end, when we discuss financial issues, we talk about cryptocurrency, which is a new, it's a speculative field that people are not necessarily assured of, and even the CBK are worried because it's a speculative kind of like platform. You've had some sort of experience in this field. Now, two questions that arise when it comes to cryptocurrency trade is that, does it have a real world application? And secondly, what everybody wants to know, how liquid is it? How liquid is it? And is it a good option for diasporans to add?
To be honest, cryptocurrency, like you said, it's I do classify it under alternative investments. It's not really part of the mainstream investments. We have the mainstream, so we have real estate, the stock markets, the treasuries, and then the circles and stuff. So when you look at cryptocurrencies, it's extremely risky. And what I always tell clients, if you're gonna put money there, put money that you can afford to lose, because the returns could go either way. In 2017, guys made over 1,000% in returns. 2018 to 2019, it's been different. But you can see from 2019 up to where we are now, if you look at year-on-year growth, it's still over 100%, which is like, for you to make 100%, say in real estate, it's going to take you like 10 years or so, right? Okay, depending on where you're investing.
Yeah.
But the thing about cryptocurrencies is that if you don't really know what you're doing, don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at it from an investment perspective, I've been doing cryptocurrencies since 2016, when the Bitcoin was $400. It's currently, I think, around $6,000, and it's just plunged from $8,000 yesterday.
Yeah.
So you see the volatility. So when you look at it as an investment option, you need to look at it from the application perspective. And we do have, maybe I should not go that deep, but we do have cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
Yes.
I do invest for people who are outside the country, the diasporans.
Yeah.
Those who are familiar with cryptocurrencies, they do pay me in cryptocurrencies. You know why? Because I want to bypass the banking system.
The intermediate, the
save money, yeah? And it's very fast. Okay. And also, if you look at it like in terms of execution of smart contracts, we have this Ethereum. It's a cryptocurrency that's very, very trustless. I don't need to trust you to do business with you. Yeah? So if you look at it from applications, it's low in terms of applications globally because the information is not out there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, just to bring in Peter, remittances right now in Kenya are literally the biggest foreign exchange earners. It has surpassed tea, it has surpassed horticulture and all that money that's going on down there. Kenya, despite the fact that remittances has actually surpassed all these other sectors of the biggest foreign exchange, we still have it as the least. Kenya is the country that's ranked in one of the least people who actually invest in or use remittances at 3% GDP. Why do you think this is the case?
Well, looking at it, I think it is a matter of preference because, of course, when we look at remittance as a whole, that remittance, the different sectors where that remittance come in. For example, there is a study that was done by a Commonwealth Diaspora Investor Survey in Kenya. And what that report said is that 67% of the people who do, the diaspora people who do the remittances, they send money to families and friends. But that money comes to family and friends, but where does it go deep down? Because it is either channeled towards investment or maybe uplifting the community or going towards educating relatives. But for me, I think the key things is what are some of the things that we can do to encourage and to make sure that the diaspora remittances are increasing every day, because it forms a very important part of the economy. And as a players in this sector, for example, in the real estate sector, I think it is a matter of looking at what does the diasporians need to encourage them to invest more back in their country. Remember, these are Kenyans, as I said before. And I think the critical thing to look at, like for example, what we have done as PMC Estates, is we have created a system whereby we have ensured that there is trust within our customers. Allan, I was looking at PMC Estates portfolio, and surprisingly, over 57% of our customers are diaspora. That tells you that there is something that we have seen at PMC Estates, and this is a challenge to every player in our economy. What is it that something that you can offer on bringing the government on board, because they also are very critical on this. What can we offer these diasporians to make sure that the remittance in the country is increasing every day? And some of those things we are talking about is, a trust with the system. A reliable system. What you promise, you deliver. And we make sure that there is that environment whereby the diasporans are encouraged to invest back home.
All right. Now we come to James, who's not spoken for a while, but I'm bringing in James, right? So, if you actually check the statistics, and there are lots and lots of places that the diasporans can invest in and put their money, but one of the key fields and the key sectors that comes up or comes out, it's real estate. Why is real estate a good market for these diasporians? Because if you check within the market locally, it's a situation where we have an oversupply and less demand. But you still find that these diasporians, they're still investing in the same market. Why do you think real estate is coming out at the top?
First, I want to correct you, Mr. Allan. Real estate in Kenya is not experiencing an oversupply. In fact, we are having something we can call an undersupply. reason why you see so many diasporians plugging in into investing in real estate is because the exposure they get from outside the country, they have ideas of how they can invest in real estate and still make revenue, make a lot of returns.
Yes.
Look for it. In Kenya today, when we talk with the guys, mostly the youth, when you talk to them about real estate, many of us think real estate ni kujenga ghorofa na kutafuta tena.
Yeah.
But that is not real estate. Real estate is so diverse. If you look in a place, I went one day to this country called Bahrain. And a guy had invested in a quarter-acre piece of land, developed something we call the dolphin watch.
Yes.
In that quarter-acre. And people are paying him on a daily basis to come and watch dolphins in a desert. Now look at Kenya. We have so many opportunities. Right now we have so many kids who are being born on a daily basis. But most of these families are middle earning class families.
Yes.
Living in our estates. Kasarani, you know, these other areas, Madare, Huruma, all these areas. But they don't have facilities like prayer areas. They don't have facilities where kids can go and pray. That's why we have GMC fund place in Kitengela, and it's rated one of the best fund places in Kitengela. Why? Because if you look around Kitengela area, there's no area where kids can go and pray.
Yes.
So for diasporians, when they go outside there, they see these opportunities, and then they come back home, they invest in an avenue. Of course, they need to get a trustworthy partner, like Optiven, whereby you can channel your money and invest in real estate without your money going into the drain, because you know what is happening around. So when you invest in this piece of real estate, maybe it's a fraud.
All right.
Utilize it in a way that you get something we call return on investment. Don't just think about building those, you know, my apartment and everything. No.
Yeah.
Do something we call a 360 survey. See what you can do that is not in Kenya and can be bringing you income on a daily basis.
All right.
Even if it's doing something called an in-house sport house, whereby you can buy a piece of land, develop a sport house whereby you can have a small football playing area for kids. Very small, like a 50 by 100.
Yeah.
But you have amenities like kids come there with their parents and they are playing football there. They are exercising. Right. Then Bamba and Mama, they're having Nyamachoma on the other side. But it's a very small piece of land. You invest in something like that and you've been getting returns on a daily basis. Okay. So when you talk about oversupply, yes, there is oversupply in the high market.
Okay.
Why? We were just chatting with my friend here, my brother, and he was telling me that he has seen on the newspapers and on social media that in Kenya, real estate has a bubble. And I told him the only bubble I've seen in Kenya ni ya Omo na ya Elio. You see? That is the only bubble I've seen in Kenya. In real estate, we don't have a bubble, and we are not going to experience it in the next like 20 years. Why? Our middle income earners are increasing on a daily basis. But if you look at the high-end earners, people are earning 500,000, 600,000, 700,000. They are very few. Okay. Myself, if you give me a house that I'll be paying rent of 140,000 Kenyan shillings per month, the next stop will be where I was born from. I cannot afford to pay that money. And that is the highest number of Kenyans we have. So if our Kenyan brothers and sisters in the diaspora can plug in, develop even these houses that can accommodate the middle income earners and the low income earners class in our Kenya, I think the market is still so huge. How many people live in our, how do we call them, Vitongoji Dunduni? You know, in Kibera, you know, in Korogosho, there are so many. But if you give these people an opportunity to own a home, because that is the dream of every Kenyan, me being included, the first money I got when I started working, the first idea I got, nipate shamba, nijenge nyumba yangu. And that is what we have in Kenya. Most of the Kenyans are looking to a way they can own a home. But if you go in the market, the homes you get are ranging from 20 million, 30 million. How many Kenyans can afford that money?
All right.
That's the thing.
Okay, fine. Gentlemen, we want to take a short break, but when we get back, we'll be continuing with this conversation. That was the first beat of the show, but let's take a short break. When we get back, we'll be wrapping up this conversation with more. Stay with us.
linalowapa vijana nafasi ya kuchangia kwa mada inayowaathiri.
Vijana tukishikana, we can bring a revolution. Tunaweza geuza serikali sahihi, lakini serikali yenyewe haiwezi kubali.
Tunazungumza kuhusu ajira, afya, uongozi, ukuzaji wa talanta pamoja na masuala ibuka katika jamii. Ni mazungumzo bora inayofungua mlango wa suluhisho kwa masuala tata miongoni mwa vijana. Ungana nami Paul Kirubi kila siku ya Jumatano kuanzia saa 12 hadi saa 1 jioni katika kipindi cha Vijana Mashinani. Wakati wetu ni sasa.
Hey, Sospitason, tumefutwa wote.
Yawa, pia wewe?
Tumeachiliwa.
Si pia wewe unaweza anzisha biashara yako?
Na hii economy venye iko tough sana.
But not too tough for Mwananchi Credit.
Tutafanya aje?
Si niko na 5 good cars. We can get a quick logbook loan approved within 6 hours.
Nataka kuanzisha salon na spa. Hii haitatosa.
Si tuko na title deeds pia. We can still get more money using them. Get a quick approval within 6 hours using your logbook or title deed. Do not get stuck. Call Mwananchi Credit today. Si nilikuambia.
You are a big smart joke.
Mwananchi Credit. Investor in people.
Right, thank you very much for staying with us right here on Diaspora Vybez. Remember, if in case you're joining us right now, the platform that you can use to communicate with us is at TV47KE across all the social media platforms, or you might as well give us a call or send us a text with the details on the bottom right of your screen. Gentlemen, let's now wrap up this conversation, and I'd love to give each one of you at least two minutes as we finish this, and I'll start with George. The digital space is a very critical bit of the discussion of investments, because this is where diasporians and everybody access the information. But one of the biggest things is people are prone to quacks, wrong information, and all that comes with access to information on the digital platform. How can diasporians invest and really tell that this is the right investment for me when they're outside there?
Okay, thanks, Allan. I do understand there's a lot of scams in Kenya. And mostly they thrive on the fact there's very little information about investments. Most of the investments that are done in Kenya formally tend to fall towards real estate, because culturally we're aligned towards buying land and owning a house. But now the information out there, and when I invest for people, I tend to avoid touching their cash as much as possible. I show you where to put your cash, but I won't touch it. If I'm investing for you in the stock market, I'll set up a CDS account for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And
what is the CDS account again? I know
CDS account.
Somebody doesn't understand this. Yeah,
that's the Central Depository Settlement account.
Okay.
That's the account that you need for you to invest in the NSC, basically.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll set up the account for you wherever you're in the world, for as long as you have an internet. You send me the documents. I'll go to the brokers and set them up for you. And then once your account's opened, the login credentials, because luckily Kenya, we are a bit developed compared to African peers, so we have online access for the stock market.
Yes.
So you'll be given the login details, and it's you to choose your password. Yeah. So at any given time, you can access your investment and see how they're performing.
Yes.
What they normally do, because most of these people don't really understand how the stock market works, that's why I come in, I manage it for them.
Yes.
So you deposit the money, you tell me, I'll come and readjust your portfolio, buy these shares, sell these shares, and once you want to withdraw, you will just send them an email. I cannot withdraw on your behalf because your email, your bank account are what's linked to your CDS account. So even if I wanted to, I can't. Kenya, we have a trust issue.
Yes.
Most diasporians who submit money, they remit money to their friends or supposed investment companies here, they end up losing them. Yeah, and we've seen so many stories. So I tend to gravitate towards something that you're going to have more control of as an investor, wherever you are. So if you're investing in money markets, I'll help you set up the account.
Yes.
You deposit your money there.
Okay.
If you need to withdraw, you withdraw it yourself, as opposed to you giving me the cash And of course, I have needs, I could divert it somewhere. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so basically that's it.
Okay. Now, as we move to Peter Kariuki,
yes.
As James mentioned earlier on, real estate is not necessarily about building. Buildings, there's a lot entailed to it. And one of the other options that diasporans have been investing in the Kenyan space is Airbnb, literally renting out a space and giving out to other people who would also want to come in. Now, this is not such a expansive, so to say, kind of market within the diaspora. Would you advise the diasporans to actually venture into this?
It is a very key component actually in our business.
Yeah.
And actually even as PMC, it is something that we have also brought on board, because we cannot forget the fact that technology, automation, the digital space, because what these diaspora customers need is confidence. And as long as they're able to access, remember Airbnb, how it works. You advertise the space and then someone is able to book irrespective of wherever they are, right, because it has all the requirements, and then you're able to see how much are you charging them. So it shows them how much income they're going to get. And therefore it is something that we cannot ignore.
Yes.
Because the digital space right now, I think it is moving very, very fast. Kenya is becoming a very dynamic economy. Looking even at how we handle our operations, even as PMC estates, our operations are automated,
yeah,
in a way that whether someone is in diaspora and we are managing their property, they have a platform where they can log in and they're able to monitor how are their properties performing. So how much, for example, if it's a rental property, how much income did I get from this month? How much was the expenditure? And therefore they are able to monitor, because all they need is that confidence, and automation and the digital space brings that confidence with them.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. James, now to you, quickly, 60 seconds. Optiven, we're going back to Optiven, which is the firm that you're under. Last year, you signed an agreement with the Kenya USA Diaspora Circle, which I want to believe is the biggest circle as of now. And one of the things that came out is that you were going to provide financial access at an easier way, or in an easier way, to the diasporans as compared to these other circles that are operating in other financial institutions. Now, for you to say this, you definitely realize that there was a problem with the already existing platforms where people were sourcing for resources. What was that you saw was wrong, and you actually came as Optiven to sign this agreement and make it easier for the diasporans to operate?
Thank you, Allan. And very first, I would like to clarify that so many Kenyans living in the diaspora,
yes,
we have a misconception on the ground where people think like, because my brother, my sister is living in the US, they're living in the UK, they have a lot of money and they tend to be exploited. People are expecting them to pay for their, bills, expenses, but they also have utility bills that they settle there in the diaspora. So when we partnered with the Kenya USA Diaspora Circle, it was an avenue that where Kenyans living in the diaspora can get financing from the circle. They come and invest in Optiven. You just need to identify a plot with Optiven, and they do financing for you. Of course, they have done their due diligence. They have verified that our projects are genuine. We have read title deeds. We have done all the validations as we advertise on the media. So they can easily facilitate financing for these investors, for these Kenyans. But it's not only the Kenya USA Diaspora Circle. We have partnered also with the Kenyan Circle.
Yes.
We have a number of other, I think we have over 20 circles we have partnered with. And now it's easier for Kenyans living there to partner with the circle and access financing. Why did we go for the circle? Because financing through the bank in Kenya, it's really expensive. If you look at the interest rates with our banking system, it's a bit very high. Though we have some banks who have come on board right now, and they have partnered with Optiven to give Kenyans also an opportunity to invest in our project. Last week, we signed a very huge partnership with the NCBA Bank, whereby they are financing our Kenyan investors 105%. So you just need to come, identify a plot, they'll finance you 105%. The other week, we partnered with Equity, and they are financing our investors in one of the projects we have in Dhaka. They are giving you 95% financing. So you just pay 10%. The price of the property, then they finance you 90%. So partnership is a way to grow. I remember my CEO one day said, the only way an organization can grow is through partnership, philanthropy, and creativity, innovation. And without partnership, you can go nowhere. Because you need people to come and bring their wisdom, their resources within the organization so that you can expand. So when Optiven talks about growing to 30,000 job opportunities for Kenyans within the year 2030. That can only be achieved through partnership.
All
We
right.
cannot do it alone.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time in gracing our studios for this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you picked one or two things from the interview, and we had able guests that have told you one or two things that pertain to investments with and outside in the diaspora. Now, at this point, we'd love to take our next break, but when we come back, we're going to come back with a fun and exciting segment known as the Diaspora Cultures. Don't stay away. Do stay with us. Hi guys, thank you very much for joining me right here for yet another episode of Returning Diaspora. Now, as you can see, I'm already changing because it's about to get sporty. I'll be sitting down with the one and only Coach Cliff Owino, who is the head coach right here at the United States International University, Africa, and also doubles up as the head coach of the Kenya national basketball team, the Morans. Let's listen to his story.
Just as you said, and born in Kisumu, lived in Kenya, I'm Kenyan, yeah, and I'm a basketball coach by profession, and I coach USIU now as well as the Kenya national team, which is a Morans basketball team.
All right.
Otherwise, I also work with young kids just to mentor them and run different basketball camps around the country.
All right. Now, definitely the reason as to why you're in the segment is because you're a returning diaspora. At some point, you lived in Kenya but exited to Rwanda. What was the inspiration behind this? Why did you leave your home country and moved to Rwanda?
At some point in time, I'd always desired to coach out of the country. It's something that I'd always dreamt for, and when the opportunity came up in 2005, I decided I wanted to go and try it outside there and see if I could really make an impact. Because by starting out somewhere close to home, it would also help open up avenues to go maybe further out in Europe or in the States. So that's still my dream, and still working on it.
Right, so you went and you coached different teams in Rwanda, basketball teams, that is, and what was different? I mean, basketball is a big sport here, but it's a bigger sport in Rwanda. What is the basketball scene and what's different from us?
I think one of the things that was very different is the level of support that the Rwandan teams, especially the federation, the government, and also the team itself. I was coaching APR Basketball Club, which is an army side, and when I first joined them, they would really give me opportunities. They would listen to what I would tell them. At this level, we need to make this kind of changes, and they would really administratively support those courses, and it would really help in the changing of our game.
Now, that was the time and stay in Rwanda. Finally, it reaches a day and you decide it's time to come back home. What inspired this whole move back home?
I think it had come, I just felt things were not getting, there was no, I was not moving it to another level. There was no growth at all, and I'm thinking, I was hoping for some other challenges further abroad which were not forthcoming. And I said, maybe I need to go back home and face a new challenge there. And that's when I came back, and they gave me a chance to handle the Morans and also USIU basketball that I've really seen enormous growth with both teams. We've done great with the Morans basketball team, and we finished second in the Afro-Can Championship in Mali. Just recently in the AfroBasket qualifiers, we did a great job winning in the region. Yeah, and also with the USIU teams, I'm realizing a lot of progress with the college and college boys and girls, and they're doing a great job.
So maybe if we just touch on the issue of basketball a bit. We've always had talented players. I want to believe, because I myself am a basketball player, we've always had talented players. But it took Coach Cliff to come all the way back from Rwanda years after years to actually breathe in some life into the game that we all love, this game called basketball. What did you bring in different, and what did you come into change and you realized, oh, this is where the problem is?
To be honest, if I say this, many people have not taken it kind of positively. One, we are an athletic country. We are a very athletic country, and Kenyans by nature, like you just mentioned, they can go somewhere and work out something. We are very aggressive by nature, and I brought in these two components. Other than that, what I actually added is structured basketball, and then in it we started. It's much of our mental, how we look at things, our perceptions in our mind. It all starts in the mind. So I worked so hard to transform their minds, get them to believe that we are not just participating, we are competitors and we are capable to be champions.
I don't know if it's true. I've always said I don't know if it's true, if the grass is really green outside there. And Rwanda has been doing amazingly well in literally everything. Somebody want to leave and go to Rwanda. What would you advise be to this particular person? Especially somebody wanting to exit Kenya and go to Rwanda, yeah.
One thing I want to confess and I accept about Rwanda is the fact that I like the way they do their stuff. Everything is structured. You just asked me about what are my plans. I'm still focused on going to coach I've always dreamed either in Europe or in the US, or just for 2 seasons. 2 seasons. Then back to Kenya, because I love Kenya so much. But otherwise, now that I'm still around, I really want to devote much of my time working with young kids. And that's one thing I do during holidays. We try and do basketball camps for young kids just to help build their skills and also mentor them. And that's one of the key things that I'm very focused on.
Coach Cliff, I want to thank you for your time and gracing us with your presence this evening. But before we finish, I can also see you're pretty much still fit. So maybe if I pick you up on a one-on-one, say game 1 or 2, let's see who still got this, right? Fine, we're just going on. Let's now move on to the code. I want to see if the coach still has it. I mean, I know I still have it. I don't know, but let's go and see this. All right.
For those fun weekends with the baddies, holiday getaways, baby showers, and any other mashup event, we got you back. Welcome to Woodland Resort for comfort and elegance that will ensure your entertainment needs are met. We have a spacious bar area with a round table to maximize on your bonding time with friends. It is stocked with premium, non-premium beers and chilled wines that will get you to cloud nine as you watch your favorite teams battle it out on our well-hinged plasma screens. All this is perfectly crowned and made possible by our caring, always available bartenders to ensure that all your needs are catered for. We can't wait to host you at Woodland Resort. Woodland Resort for comfort and elegance. Located in the outskirts of Kitale Town, Kitale Webuye Road, opposite St. Joseph's Boys Kitale.
Alright, thank you very much for staying with us. Now, before we continue, I'd actually love to make an apology. I remember before the returning diaspora segment, I said that we were going for a break, but that wasn't the case. I was supposed to introduce the story. It happens, just a miscommunication with my director, but I believe the story covered for all that mess-up. Now, before we continue, I'd just love to jump into some feedback that we're getting. This is on YouTube where we have our live stream. I am Mush says, great show, thank you very much. John Brooks Arungo Kwaro says, real estate is not about kujenga gorofa na kutafuta tenants. Very on point. Richard Kamau says, great show tonight. And maybe if I just swing by Facebook and see what's going down there. We have Achicha Lerai. She says, she or he, I'm not sure. She says, I'm watching Hapa na Nyuki live bila Buguda. Martin Waweru says, Optiven Limited and PMC Estates are great in offering their diaspora market a genuine platform. Keep the feedbacks coming in and I'll sample some of them as we head to the end of the bulletin. For now, let's continue. Last week on Diaspora Cultures, we gave you a taste of Indian cuisine at the Shangri-La restaurant. And because you can never have too much of a good taste, here's the second part, complete with a sneak peek of what goes behind an Indian-themed kitchen. Take a look.
You know, as I told you, Indian food is herbal. We are having around 50 spices that we use in Indian cooking. Wow. So as we approach the kitchen, you will see. Yeah, so maybe they can tell us how the experience of the food is.
All right.
Yeah.
How are you, ladies? I hope you're enjoying your meal.
Yes, we are actually enjoying it. My name is Pamela. And of course, as Edward has said, we are regulars here. We love this place. It's cozy, it's warm, it's quiet, and the food is just perfect. Yes.
Not too much spices, as is the norm of Kenyans na chakula ya Wahindi.
This food is great. Yes, not too much spices. Just so wonderful.
Can you mention what you're having?
We have some chicken here, some vegetable rice, and there's some naan. And there's also the vegetable. There's biryani. Yes. And we've just had some roasted goat. Yes, goat ribs. And we are really enjoying ourselves.
All right, thank you so much. I'll let you enjoy your meal, Asanteni. All right.
Yeah. We moved to the kitchen side. You see how the preparation is done to make this food the way it is. You enter where the Indian cooking is. These are clay ovens. This is the traditional clay oven in Indian cooking. It originated for some years back, many years back, from our Stone Age, and it has become very popular. So when you hear somebody talking, I need something tandoori, the person does not know what is a tandoori. Tandoori is the clay oven. So whatever is cooked in the tandoori is what you are asking for. So some people say, I need tandoori, meaning they want a naan. Naan is not tandoori. Naan is made from tandoori. It's the oven. So tandoori generally is the clay oven, traditional cooking in India. So this is what happens there. They are doing the Indiaki. This is Indiaki cooking, whereby we provide you a chef who cooks your food freshly made in front of you, and then he serves your people. So this is another experience. In other places, they call it tapanyaki. Tapanyaki meaning live cooking in front of you. Yes, yes. So you see the art of cooking right in front of you. Yes. So this is the means. That is concept number 3 in this restaurant. You will find very few places you will find this. So for us,
Will they make Indian cuisine, or is it Chinese, or a combination of what you want?
here we are basically concentrating on Indian. Yeah. So selected items, selected menu, everything is made in front of you. After he has done it, he serves you also. So basically, you are just dealing with the chef.
So which is the most popular option people take?
This is if people who love fun, maybe they are celebrating a birthday or whatever. As they talk, they enjoy it. They like the live cooking. You know, people are moving from Koroga. Koroga is where you go and make the food yourself. So they prefer this one. You want to know?
That is very fine. I think now we know what goes on in the kitchen, because most of us take the back seats. You just order your food and it comes to you, but at least now we know where it comes from. Now you know that tandoori is an oven. So when you're asking for tandoori, you're not actually asking for the food. You are actually asking for what is made from the kitchen. That has been the Indian experience here at Shangira Restaurant in Muthaiga. Back to you in studio, Allan.
That is definitely a good and a nice spot that I'll be taking somebody someday, probably next week. And when I say somebody, I mean my mom. Yeah. Thank you for that piece, Kawira. Let's now move on to my favorite beat of the show, which is Diaspora Salams. We give people the opportunity to send their shout-outs wherever they are, because they are not able to interact with their loved ones. Let's have a look.
Hi, viewers. Thank you so much. I am Angela, tuning in from Qatar, and yes, I am a YouTuber and I do videos related to living and working in Qatar. So I would like to give a shout out to all my fans in Kenya. And if you are interested in knowing how life is out here, then you should definitely check out my channel. It's called Angie Owoko, ANGIE OWOKO. I hope to see you there. Life here is not so bad. Honestly, it's not as cold as I'm making it to seem. It's a little bit warm, but it was a little bit chilly inside, because what happens here is that during summertime they use a lot of air conditioning. But otherwise, I'm also sending a shout out to all my family members in Kenya, and I miss you guys. Bye.
Hi Allan and TV47 team, my name is Wairumo Kanyanja and I'm calling from Dublin. I just wanted to give a huge hello to all my siblings and my parents, Paul and Winnie Karumba, and hoping to see you guys soon. See you, bye!
Right, that was Diaspora Salams, which brings us to the end of the segment. It's now time to put a halt to this ride that began at 9 p.m. I hope that you do stay with us. And remember, if you have any ways that you'd love to chip in and for the show to be improved, don't forget, always send in those comments on our social media platforms, or use whatever information is at the bottom right of your screen. I've been your host for tonight, Allan Owino. Until next Thursday, stay with us right here at TV47. But before I exit this, I want to leave you with a feature story that pertains to World Kidney Day. And on the second Thursday of March every year, World Kidney Day is celebrated across the globe. Today we look at the story of Isaac Madenge, who has been suffering kidney failure for over 10 years.
According to the World Health Organization, it is estimated that 4.8 million Kenyans will be suffering from kidney disease by 2030. Currently, about 1 in every 10 persons has some form of chronic kidney disease, which causes at least 2.4 million deaths per year and are now the 6th fastest growing cause of death. Isaac Madenge is one of the statistics, a building constructor and a father of 14 who in 2019 got word from the doctors that he had a kidney tumor, a revelation that could change his life forever.
In 2009, I got a tumor through my kidney, and I was operated and it was taken away. One kidney was taken away. So after 3 months, I started getting other problems.
When he went through a successful surgery that saw one kidney fail, he thought the worst had passed, only for his troubles to occur barely 3 months later. His remaining kidney was also failing.
2010, I started dialysis in 2010, and I stayed with the dialysis until last year. That is, I was going 3 times in a week. So it is a great problem when you go for dialysis because you can't do anything else in this world. And you can't travel. You must stick with the doctors and for the machines. Last year, 2019, I came here in Pisha, and they told me that they normally do that operation or transplant. Now I was done the transplant on December last year, December 3rd. And since I was done the transplant, I started gaining very fast. And up to date, I have no problem with the kidney. And now I'm curing. I waited for 3 months in order to remove the mask that I normally put in my mouth because of the prevention. And that's why I'm here today.
Isaac then traveled across the world as far as India and Israel in search for a lasting solution. But all brought him back home, attending dialysis sessions up until 2019 when he would have 3 sessions a week.
I felt very bad because I went even up to India to make sure that I was not sick. I went to India, I went to Israel, and they told me, all doctors told me, you must be removed that kidney immediately because a tumor is like cancer. It could spread to other parts of the body. So when I came back here in Kenya, I went to Aga Khan and it was taken away.
It began to wear him out his duties and his social life up until at MP Shah Hospital when the doctors suggested a transplant.
Me, I'm a contractor, building contractor, and I could not go to the work. I could not go to look for the work. You must go to Fisher for the work. And you cannot go because you have only 3 days in a week, 2 days in a week to work. Because Monday you go to dialysis, Wednesday you go to dialysis, Friday you go to dialysis. Now they are left just 2 days. And those 2 days, especially the late days,